Hello everyone, this is, I am Barendipitous, and this is of course a bit of a different video than I usually do. Well, what is a usual video for me, honestly? On this channel, I just kind of make whatever I want to make. But essentially what I want to do is show off my card collection, basically. I have shown my card collection before on a stream once, probably about a year or so ago. But I've been kind of getting back into trading card games a little bit. Not to compete or anything, but I have a lot of fond memories of playing Pokemon and the old Digimon card game as a kid and as a teenager, and I still have almost all of my stuff from that time. And I've since kept collecting more things, so I thought I have some friends who wanted me to show off my card collection, so that's pretty much what this whole video will be. Yeah, hello, I'm right here. I've kind of finagled a setup to make it easy for you to see my cards, but yeah, I'm just gonna ramble on about the cards and stuff that I have, and I'm pretty happy about them. I'm pretty proud of my collection. So this here, oops, bumped the camera there. This is my so this binder is my Pokemon card collection. I have collections of several different card games, but I wanted to start off with probably one of the most popular card games that I have cards from, and this is the one that I played a lot as a kid, growing up. And I came from the I got into Pokemon cards when they were like brand new, like the very first very first wave of bans of Pokemon card bans from school, basically. A few years ago, Fortnite kind of made headlines by, Fortnite is being banned in schools because kids can play it on their phones. Well, and I know Pokemon cards have been banned a number of times just in schools because they were such a distraction, right? Well, in the 90s, the 90s was the very first time that Pokemon cards were just sort of became a huge success. And this is my collection of them, and I have, but yeah. So starting with the very base set. If you look closely at some of these are actually there's no logo on them, and you can kind of see at the bottom if the camera adjusts well enough that the date is like 19. Let's see, this one says 1999. Copyright 1999 from Wizards of the Coast. So yeah, I'm obviously not going to talk about every single card. There are too many of them. But if there are particular memories or something on a particular card, then I'll talk about it. But yeah, I haven't played much with these in a very long time. I think of all of my Pokemon cards, I think surprisingly this one right here, Imposter Professor Oak, I think this is probably the most expensive Pokemon card I have. This is I do have like a few holographics, like this holographic Hitmonchan here. I really like that one. These are organized by set and then in alphabetical order. Another awesome rare card I have, this Electrode here, non-foil, non-holographic. But the reason why this Imposter Professor Oak here is probably my most expensive card is that not only is it first edition, there's this little first edition symbol there, which you'll see on some of these, meaning that it was part of the very first printing of Pokemon cards. That in and of itself is something, but the first edition, different editions can have like different printings essentially within like a few months or something like that, or a year, from what I know. But in the very, 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 very first printing, there are cards that had a typo in sort of the copyright section. In other first edition cards, they would be called shadowless because there would be no shadow in kind of like on this side of the picture here. You can see all of these do in fact have shadows on them. So I don't have very many shadowless cards, but this Imposter Professor Oak is shadowless because in the copyright information, you might not be able to see, but it has the year 1999 twice. Once in these list of years here, and another in just 1999 right over here. I think that's the typo. There's some kind of typo that I was able to detect on this one. So, pretty happy about that. I did not expect that. Yeah. Oh yes. This holographic Machamp. This was part of the base starter set. Each base starter set and that had a holographic Machamp card. So even though this is a rare and a holo, it's not shadowless. And even though it is first edition, it's not like as rare as that Imposter Professor Oak one because it was in every single base starter set. We got Fat Pikachu here. Let's see here. Yeah, you can always pause if you want to take a good look at certain cards or whatever. I really like this Porygon picture, kind of in this computer like 3D, it's like bare bones 3D environment there. What other cool stuff? Oh, this goes into oh yeah, we're in the jungle set now. There's this flower symbol there. I believe that was the second set that came out. Jungle, is that right? I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah. I always like Scyther. I'm definitely a Generation 1 kind of guy. Oh yeah, I believe, I can't remember if I have all three legendary birds, but I have a couple of them. I'm pretty sure. So we have Articuno here. I'm happy to have this this Ditto card, another rare one. Oh, we're into Fossil now as well. I guess the jungle didn't last very long, but there's a little Fossil hand down there. So, oh yeah, here's Moltres, and Zapdos. Here we go, Zapdos. the camera is upside down for me, so I'm kind of like looking at the camera feed as well as my binder. But yeah, I guess I do have all three legendary birds. There we go. I'm pretty. I sometimes I just kind of forget that, but yeah, there we go. Yep, continuing, and now we go on to sort of the when they reprint the first time that they reprinted the base set as a different set. So that's what this sort of 2 symbol is. I've always liked Voltorb as well and Magnemite. Kind of the electric and sort of steel types often look really cool to me. Oh, and yeah, now I really like the gym leader sets as well. So we have Gym Heroes and Gym Challengers or something like that. There were 2 different gym sets. And maybe someday it'd be awesome to have every single Kanto gym leader card. But for now, I have this. I have Brock, Brock's Zubat. Some got some of Erica's cards, some Lieutenant Surge cards, some of Misty's cards. It would also be cool to have each of the gym cards as well. I have Vermilion City. Yeah, Vermilion City Gym, and also Narrow Gym. Can't have as many Pokemon. Sabrina's Gaze. Oh yeah, Rocket's Training Gym as well. The Rocket set should be coming up pretty soon. Yeah, here we go. Team Rocket set. I remember that they had these dark Pokemon. They weren't dark in their base form, but when you evolved them, it basically kind of showed they have like lower hit points and everything, and it kind of showed that Team Rocket raised this Pokemon and didn't really give it the tender loving care that it needed, and that's why it has like lower hit points, but probably a bit more like power and like certain special abilities and stuff like that, right? Like this Dark Dugtrio wouldn't be the same as a normal Dugtrio, right? Because Team Rocket trained it. Another Imposter Professor Oak here. It's so weird. I don't know. Like, I haven't seen Imposter Professor Oak like anywhere. I don't know if he was like in the anime or something. I've watched a lot of the original anime until they entered Johto, but I don't remember seeing him in there. And he certainly isn't in any of the games I played. So, but fun concept nonetheless. Oh yeah, Fuchsia City Gym here, and I have Blaine here. This is non-holographic. The Brock was holo, I believe. That's right. Porygon. This is from the Rocket sets. This is like you know how like in Pokemon Red and Blue and Yellow you can buy a Porygon from the Team Rocket casino. So I'm pretty sure that's what this is referring to. Yeah, more. So yeah, we got Koga, we got Sabrina. It's a Sabrina card here. Sabrina's Porygon. And okay, now kind of starting here, we go into Johto. So like Generation 2, so like Gold and Silver and Johto and all of that, that's kind of when I, as a kid, started to lose interest in Pokemon. So, I kind of, like, I generally never really I wasn't very interested in Pokemon from that point onward, going into like 2001 and so on and so forth, basically. And so even though I do have a decent amount of like like Gen 2 and beyond cards, it wasn't until like 3 or 4 years ago that as Pokemon Shield was coming out and Pokemon Sword and Shield were coming out, Gen 8, basically, and also I also ran basically a Dungeons and Dragons Pokemon. I created my own Pokemon region along with like unique gyms and gym leaders and gym challenges and mysteries and stuff like that. It wasn't Dungeons and Dragons, but it was like another tabletop RPG system that was Pokemon, and all of that was about like 3 or 4 years ago. In the past 3 or 4 years, I guess it was more like 3 years. And I just started getting a bit more interested in Pokemon and sort of like looking at my Pokemon cards again. So I basically started with Gen 1, skipped Gens 2 through 7, and from Gen 8 and Gen 9, I've started getting interested in Pokemon a bit more. Kind of more casually, though, still. But yeah, so I don't have very much to say about most of these Pokemon cards going forward. Basically, up to like this point here is all of like the cards that I used to have as a kid. I guess I still had a bunch of these as a kid as well. Like I still got some Pokemon packs, but again, I was kind of losing interest a bit. There were some, so like this barcode looking thing here. I used to have a Game Boy Advance e-reader, and I would scan some of those cards to play some of the mini games, although that didn't last very long. Oh yeah, speaking of like Steel from earlier, this is where they started introducing Steel type, and I thought that was really cool. I always loved the special energy cards. I always thought they were really cool. I think energy cards also look pretty cool, but the special energies like the double colorless energy, the heal energy, or something. This is a boost energy. I don't know very much about any of these like individual sets. Oh yeah, Glacia. So also my sister for Christmas gave me a bunch of Pokemon cards, which I opened in a recent YouTube video in this channel. And so I've been kind of getting back into Pokemon. My wife loves the evolution, so having this Glaceon here was really cool with the Team Plasma logo. I think that looks really, really neat. I like Clink and Clang as well. Again, these are all organized first by set and then by alphabetical order, so that's why you'll see something like Clang before Kling, basically. I was pretty happy to see more of these, more from like when I started seeing like these cards here in the packs I opened recently. These are very familiar to me, right? Like we're getting some like callbacks from like the very first base set. And if I'm not mistaken, according to the sort of symbol that is in the corner here, I believe this is the the 20th anniversary, base 20th anniversary version of the base set, essentially. So that's why I have them here instead of with the rest of the cards, rest of the base set cards. Let's see, what other fun stuff do I have around here? I know there's a holographic Rockruff somewhere. Yeah. Oh yeah. Cramorant V. I love these full art cards too. I was able to kind of get a few of those full art cards as well. Pretty happy about that. I love Wooloo. I was very happy to pull one of these when I opened a Sword and Shield pack. Here we go. Oh, okay, so kind of I think it's a holographic Durant. I can't quite tell. Let's see here. Oh yeah, here we go. I got this full art holographic Melodic V. I thought this looks very beautiful. And also looking at sort of these like 200 plus like HP, like power creep in this, like you can. I'm not much. I'm not an expert in card games by any means, but I know what power creep is, and um, no, like in the earliest sets, you would never see anything above like 140 hit points. Like a Charizard is like 120, 140, and now we're getting these like V and like EX Pokemon or whatever V Star or something or other. It's just kind of ridiculous. But hey, it's kind of how it goes, and personally, I don't mind. I'd love to have more chances to play the Pokemon trading card game, but I just haven't really. So I'm kind of more of a collector right now than a player. Oh yeah, I think that's a holographic Sneasel there. I think we're getting toward the end of my. Oh yes, okay. So when my wife and I on a whim kind of like purchased a couple of Sword and Shield packs and got this holographic Regidrago V. Like, oh man, I pulled that from one of those booster packs. Probably one of my favorite recent finds, recent grabs. Definitely. Holographic Venomoth as well. I just have this V-Star card in here because I know it's meant to be practical for the game itself, but kind of like a marker for the game itself, but I just have it in there just because. Why not? And now, okay, so now we're kind of getting more into the old school thing here as we kind of get to the end of my Pokemon card collection. Although it's definitely not the end of this video because Pokemon, although I have the biggest collection of Pokemon cards, that's not the end of my it's not the end of my collection in general. I have some water here with me. I'll drink some water in a little bit. This is my page of promo cards. All right, so you can kind of you might be able to see. There's a star symbol that says promo on it. So, cards that you get for like a promotional event of some kind. So I do have some specific memories with a couple of these. So this one right here, this sort of ancient looking Mew card. I remember watching the very first Pokemon movie, the one with Mew and Mewtwo, where Ash, Misty, and Brock and a bunch of other trainers go to this island, and Mewtwo is like behind all of it, and he's trying to like conquer the world and all that stuff. And then Mew comes in and helps save the day. The Pokemon, like all the Pokemon are cloned and they fight each other and whatever. I remember seeing that in theaters, and if you watched the film in theaters, they gave you one of these cards, and it's just really cool, right? Like the back is also a bit different as well. I love it. It also came with one of these. It also came with one of these cards. Like basically, if you attended an event, they would tell you what this card means. Because you see, it has a bunch of like glyphs and stuff, right? And generally, you probably wouldn't be able to guess exactly what it all meant. Although, kind of like being the sort of like the puzzle or like semi-smart kid that I was, I tried to figure it out myself. Like I kind of assumed that these three letters up here were Mew and EW. Obviously, we got HP. I assumed that this I symbol was psychic energy, right? And that this triangle and this shape had to be a number with some kind of like word. So probably like just 2 psychic energy, the name of the attack, and an amount of damage, weakness, resistance, all that kind of stuff. And I kind of figured it out. Basically, I figured it out all on my own. And I didn't get the numbers right. I had no idea what the numbers were. But I wrote down on this card what it all means. There's some glyphs at the bottom here. Kind of hard to see. There we go. It basically says new species, little cat or evil. And so essentially this move is called Psych. The Mew has 30 hit points and does 40 damage with 2 power. How did I figure out the stuff how did I learn the numbers? I just looked it up online. You can just go on the internet now and figure out what the code meant. But back in the day, you had to attend like a different like an in-person like competition or some other like promotional event or something. Anyway, I believe this Entei card was from like the 2nd or 3rd Pokemon movie, the one that features Entei and the Unknowns. I don't remember where some of these other ones came from. This Pikachu has some lettering on it. It says Kids WB presents Pokemon the first movie. So this is another promo card related to the first movie. Team Rocket's Meowth. I'm very happy to have gotten this one because I loved the original anime. This one just kind of came in a pack that one of the packs my sister bought me. This is basically like just some sort of like monster that I made up by myself. But that you could like draw your own card. This is the Pokemon card. But you can basically like design your own card, and just like way back in the day, I just kind of made my own. I had like 200 hit points, like super overpowered. I gave him metronome. Man, I was ahead of my time, wasn't I? Let's see. I don't have much in the way of stories of most of these other ones. I have a couple of Japanese cards here, as you can see. This Shelder and this sort of Heal Energy and the Seadra. Sorry, Horsey. I mean, so this one looks wonky because this is actually a sticker. I don't remember where this came from, but this is just a sticker that we put on the back of a piece of notebook paper when we cut it out. So it's like kind of like this sort of shiny sort of sticker that just like bends really easily. It's just a piece of reinforced paper, but I think it's kind of cool. And then now we get into the tops. So Wizard of the Coast made the original like Pokemon card game. They don't print it anymore. I think a different company does it now. But we have these Topps cards, which I don't think were meant to be played, but it's more for like collecting and just to kind of look cool. This was meant to create a mural. Essentially, you can see I kind of have part of the mural here, but essentially it's basically this picture right here. It would be like you can kind of see how like Pikachu down here and all that, right? But like scenes from the anime and from like the first movie. But yeah, there are even some like shiny, like sort of holographic Topps cards as well. You can kind of see. Actually, let me just take this out. I don't remember why I got these Topps cards, but I don't find them too interesting because it's basically like a Pokedex entry essentially. You can't really play with them. Oh yeah, the shiny Arcanine card. There's even a little bit of texture here, like some of these rays and stuff kind of. Yeah, more scenes from the anime and from the first movie. This is Mewtwo in confinement. This is Ash and his friends swimming beneath the tumultuous waves. So yeah. I know there is a like 3D animated version of Pokemon the first movie, and I did watch it. And I loved watching it. It was a trip down memory lane. But the lines are all different because it's like a different translation of the original Japanese, right? And then this concludes my Pokemon card collection. Now, I do have, for all these Pokemon cards, and for like a lot of other of my cards as well, I'm only showing one of each card. There are lots of cards that I have plenty of extras. Like I have a bunch of energy cards and whatever, a bunch of land cards from Magic the Gathering. But they're not in here, right? This is like for display purposes. Now we're going on to the old Digimon card game. There's a new Digimon card game out now. And I don't have any cards for that, but I'm quite interested in it because there's some game mechanics in that new card game that look really cool to me. But this is the original Digimon card game that I used to play with my siblings around the same time as I played the Pokemon trading card game. And so I think the mechanics of the old Digimon card game are a bit wonky. We kind of had fun with it, and I watched the Digimon anime up to season 3, I believe. So I remember seeing most of these Digimon in the anime, in the TV show. I remember Diaboromon is the primary villain in the Digimon movie, which I also saw in theaters. Pretty cool. But yeah, Digimon is not as well known. I still remember which of these Digimon were like antagonists for an episode, like Frigimon was a like a sort of mind controlled villain for one episode. I believe Seadramon was another one. Wizardmon was like an enigmatic sort of like Meta Knight type character. This was Myotismon, this vampire Dracula guy, was like the major villain of an entire season. I remember that. Yeah, I still remember which ones are also like the Digimon that were like friends with, that were paired up with the like original like protagonists. Like this is with think this is with Sora, I think was her name. Iggy, the computer whiz kid. This is another villain. Oh yeah, Garurumon, Where Garurumon. That was with Matt, I believe. Yeah, Garurumon, the normal one. Devimon. That Devimon was I think he was like the main villain of like season 1 or like the first arc of season 1 or something. Angemon was with TK. This is with Ikakumon was Joe, right? Patamon into Angemon, TK as well. Biomon, Birdmon, Gomamon goes into Ikakumon. I remember that. Gabumon went to Gurumon. This is Iggy's again. I thought Candlemon looked pretty cool. Agumon was so the main guy, Tai. That was Agumon's partner. And then we kind of go into sort of the these are kind of like the trainer cards, the item cards, essentially. Drinking some water here. I know this is a long video, but my videos are generally long anyway. And I don't care. You can sort of have this in the background anyway. Because I have a lot to show anyway. So, yeah, I don't remember how the Digimon card game works anymore. I'd have to look online to see like what the rules are. But yeah, some more sort of like sort of promotional cards and stuff like that. I remember that he and they were from the season 2. What was his name again? It was Davis. That's right. This kid's name is Davis. And now we move on to the third trading card game that I played as a kid, which was the Harry Potter trading card game. This one didn't last very long. I think they only had like 3 or 4 sets or something in total. I will admit I was a huge Harry Potter nerd as a kid. I think all of my siblings were at the time. Obviously, we all have different feelings about the Harry Potter franchise. Well, particularly the author of the Harry Potter franchise. We all have very different feelings about her now. But the Harry Potter story and the Harry Potter world does have a lot of... they do hold a lot of meaningful to childhood memories for me and my siblings. So that's why I still keep things like this. Because I remember reading the books. I remember going to a Barnes and Noble for like the midnight reading of chapter 1 of the new book and stuff like that. Right, I was all in on the series as they were getting released, and I remember watching the first Harry Potter movie in theaters on like the midnight showing. It was just packed. It was ridiculous. It was very exciting. I remember feeling disappointed they did not have the potion scene in the first Harry Potter movie. Although in retrospect, I understand why, because it wouldn't be as exciting, and they probably would have taken too long. Anyway, but yeah, in the Harry Potter game, there were a lot of similarities to like Magic the Gathering or Pokemon, where you kind of instead of energy cards, you played lesson cards. Yeah, like this. These are lesson cards. Using like the lands or the Magic the Gathering lands or the Pokemon energy cards. You played these to correspond with like the different. So this is a Charms card. You can tell with the blue heart up here. You need 5 Charms energy, and this provided 1 Charms energy. Right. There's also Transfiguration, Potions, Quidditch, Care of Magical Creatures, and so forth. Right. You also kind of took the role of different characters as well. We have Malfoy here. We have Hermione here. There are different events and creatures and spells that you cast. I think the art is rather charming. It sort of reminds me a bit of the art from the editions of the Harry Potter books that I had growing up. Oh, here's the potion. Yeah, the logic puzzle one with Hermione kind of looking over the potions, figuring out which ones to drink. But yeah, a lot of these are humorous or sort of like whimsical, which I really like. Transfiguration, represented by a butterfly here. Care of Magical Creatures, of course, represented by a paw print. So yeah, this was the base set. The next set with this there's this little trophy symbol here was like Quidditch. Like Quidditch was sort of like the main theme of the second set. You can tell because they had these broomsticks, right? And they also had like different shops. I have a holographic Nimbus 2000 here, so I'm pretty happy about that. I'm pretty sure. So my Pokemon card collection is probably valued at several $100s at this point. Harry Potter cards would not be valuable at all, probably in general. But I keep these for nostalgic purposes. I have no intention of selling anything. Like most of these cards just kind of have too much sentimental value for me. Anyway, Quidditch energy basically. And I think the next set was, so this is sort of there's a signpost symbol here. The next set was themed after Diagon Alley. And so here you can see cards that have to do with things you can buy in shops like Beetle Eyes, books like Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, shops like Elop's Owl Emporium. That's Lee Jordan right there, the Quidditch commentator at Hogwarts. Potions here, this green energy represented by a cauldron. And yeah, that is it for. So this binder essentially holds all of my. There's also creatures based on the Hogwarts houses. So Slytherin Snake, Hufflepuff Badger. I've generally associated. Growing up, I kind of associated more with Hufflepuff than most other houses. Maybe Gryffindor a bit. So this binder here is basically intended to keep all of the keep the cards from the card games I played as a kid. And I have a few other binders I want to show as well. So this binder, this is the biggest binder here. The cards I played with when I was younger. And now we're going to move on to, I'll show this one later. I basically have these here to sort of keep the binders slanted. So this one is, this is Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic the Gathering. The Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards are also from the 90s, early 2000s. I never really watched the anime, and I never really played the card game either. I do know the basics of how to play the card game, and I have watched at least the first season of the anime at this point, just out of interest. So I don't know too much about these cards. I just happen to have them. I might have gotten these from a yard sale or something. But yeah, these are all organized by set. I don't remember what sets they are from, really. I don't think I have any special cards here, but I do like having cards that remind me of the anime. For example, this one here. Also, I believe there's one episode that featured a Change of Heart. I like keeping the cards that I thought looked cool, like Mr. Volcano here. I thought looked really cool with his hair and his this fire and everything. Let's see here. What else we got? I know I have a Time Wizard in here somewhere. Oh yeah, here we go. Time Wizard! I really love Time Wizard's design, and of course I love Time Wizard from the anime as well. So, but yeah, just kind of gonna go through this a bit more quickly here. All you Yu-Gi-Oh fans can maybe tell me in the comments what you think about this Yu-Gi-Oh card collection. But that's it. This is the end of my Yu-Gi-Oh card collection. Not too big. I think I technically have enough to make one deck, although who knows how good that deck would be. And now we're moving on to Magic the Gathering. Now, I never collected Magic the Gathering as a kid. I have no old Magic the Gathering cards. The only reason I have Magic the Gathering cards now is, I kind of got interested in, collectible card games a bit more, for nostalgia purposes. And I also love Dungeons and Dragons, and so this past year they had a Dungeons and Dragons set, right? And so I think for a birthday present or Christmas, or maybe I just bought it myself. I think someone gifted to me actually. Basically a whole booster, a collector's booster box. Not a collector's booster box. It was one of those. It was one of those boxes that had 10 booster packs in it with a dice and one collector's booster pack. I forgot. It came with it came with this box, basically. I love this symbol here, but it came with that box. That's why I have these. So these are Dungeons and Dragons cards organized by the number. So we have the white cards and then the blue cards after that and stuff. I don't necessarily have a lot of specific memories with the Forgotten Realms really, except just playing through the adventures in the Forgotten Realms. So I just like the general references that are in here. There's half elves, half elf monk, just in general. The Book of Exalted Deeds, that's a very special magical item. Some classes, I have the Paladin class here. What else? And like I said, that box did come with one collector's booster pack. So I think there are some cards in here that will be like holographic. And yeah, this is a holographic Shocking Grasp. Classic lower level spell. Wait, is this holographic? Yeah, it is. Might not be able to tell very well, but you can definitely tell. I've heard that holographic, that foil magic cards tend to sort of bend like this, kind of like a Pringles chip, making them harder to play with. We have the Warlock class here. I believe I have the Monk class somewhere around here as well. Oh, I have the Barbarian class as well. Just cards that represent like the class and like going through the class and everything like that. So I think like the special cards. Oh, Druid class. I have more class cards than I thought. And then I also really like these cards that start with you something. Like you meet in a tavern, or you hear a noise during watch, or something like that. Like a dungeon master talking to you about, telling you what's happening. Sorcerer class. There we go. There's that. And Monk class. Yeah, okay. These are, yeah, with this sort of gold color means that it's like multicolored cards. And now we're going into the artifacts. I think artifacts generally are cool. I like, cool items, cool magic items, cool weapons and stuff like that. I have Temple of the Dragon Queen here. These are different kind of planes. These are like different land cards that sort of represent different places in the Forgotten Realms, which I think are cool. Some of them are foil. Yeah, here are like the special sort of cards. I have Adult Golden Dragon, full art, very cool. Non-foil. Wand of Orcus, a very powerful artifact or a magic item. I really like these. My memories of Dungeons and Dragons are pretty much on just 5th edition, but these cards here, like this one, and like these, are kind of are homage to like the older editions of Dungeons and Dragons. I don't have any particular memories of those, but I still appreciate the homage anyway because I recognize that. Also, this is a sort of special. This is a non-basic land card, and it's meant to look like the cover of an old Dungeons and Dragons adventure from like the 1st or 2nd editions or whatever. So Dungeons and Dragons adventures used to look like this on the cover. So I was pretty excited to have at least one of these here, and also just your classic treasure chest there. Also, I have a bunch of other just random stuff here. I don't remember how I got some of these, but these 5 cards are part of the card game for Metabots. I remember watching the Metabots anime. I did not know there was a card game until I saw a booster pack at a store, and I bought it, and I just got these cards and I never did anything else with them. I was huge into Bionicle earlier, and Onua was my favorite one, so I have that card there. This is from Monster Rancher. I remember when the show aired, but I never really watched it. For some reason, I used to have some sports cards, and this is the only sports card I think I still kept, because Mark McGuire was a big deal back in the day, and this is a sort of holographic card shaped like a 25 with Mark McGuire. It's a little bit bent, unfortunately. It's probably not worth very much, but I just think it looks cool. I don't care about how much the cards are worth. I just think they look cool. We have this. I don't know where I got this one. It might have been from like a cereal box or something. So this is one of those, like this moves, right? It's from Mario 64, of course. I actually never really played Mario 64, at least as a kid. I pretty much skipped the N64 and went straight to GameCube. But I think it's still cool to have. And on this back page is stuff I got from BCX. These are cards as well. So obviously I have the 3 metadevs that I got from BCX 2022, and all of these codes have been claimed already, so don't even try, including this. This is what they gave you when you walked in, full of a bunch of just like different, just a bunch of all the viewership awards essentially. But these have all been claimed, so sorry. You can try to pause and claim it, but I already got them. Same with all of these as well. These are the 5 different titles you could get from BCX 2022. Obviously, my favorite one, Lore Master, and then Victorious, I Was There, Super Cool, and BCX Reveler. I hope one day to be able to have all of the MetaDev cards. I have all the MetaDevs in the game because of BCX 2020, gifting all the previous MetaDevs. But I'd love to have all the cards just because I think, it's cool, and I've been invested in Brawlhalla for a number of years now. So, but yeah, this is sort of like my other card games binder. Now, granted, there is one more. Actually, let me bring in some more light here. It's getting a bit darker. There we go. There is one more card game that I played a bit as a kid. It was mostly one of my other siblings that played for a while, but then after I discovered this collection, kind of hiding in my mom and dad's house, my sibling just kind of said, yeah, you can have it. I don't care. So this is a game called the Pirates Constructible Strategy Game. All right. Basically, what it was is in every single pack there were 2 ships, and ships would come in sort of like these are hard plastic. These are hard plastic. And basically like the same consistency of a credit card. This is the same size and shape and similar material as a credit card. And these would just be, there would be several of these that would have all of the components to build a ship. And then of course the stats of the ship would be up here with the cannons, how long you could travel, how many sails it has, and how much you can carry. And on the back of these there might be some lore or something like that. Really cool lore in this game. But ships can travel either, so this is called L for long, and this is S for short, right? So basically this says that in one turn, this ship can travel L per turn. All right, that's the ship with the arrow and everything. That means in one turn, the Pandora can travel this distance, this exact distance. And I also have, so yeah, so I have about so thanks to that, and I've been purchasing a few more off of eBay as well. Thanks to that collection, I have thanks to the collection, thanks to my siblings' collection giving it to me, as well as purchasing some more off of eBay. I have over 100 ships and stuff. So we have the base set here. This is Crimson Coast, where initially there were only English and Spanish and pirate ships, and Crimson Coast introduced the French. Revolution introduced the American faction. Barbary Coast introduced the Barbary Coast, kind of like these Barbary Coast Raiders. South China Seas introduced the Jade Rebellion. So we have some like Chinese or like Eastern like junk ships. Not like, they're not trash ships, but like junk was the term used to describe the ship. We have I think Cursed Seas, where we have the Cursed faction coming in, which is different from the pirate faction, mind you. What was this? This was I think this was there's an Arctic one. No, this is like Mysterious Islands. Then we have an Arctic one that introduced the like Vikings, basically. Ocean's Edge, probably like the biggest set around. They also had a Pirates of the Caribbean, the movies promotion. So you can see I have let's see here, HMS Interceptor is this one. And also each set had crew. And I'll show you different game pieces. But crew, you could add crew to your ships, and the crew could either like generic crew, like shipwrights and chefs and whatever, or special crew like these, who would give special properties for your ships essentially. So lots of really cool, mostly original characters with original lore, which is really, really neat, and some really spooky ones here. And then I have some, and also just like other sets, I have this is the Viking one, Skull Blood Axe, and some Pirates of the Caribbean ones as well. So you can see I have Cursed Captain Barbossa, kind of like the face he makes when you say you better stop believing in ghost stories, Miss Turner. I also have, you can see here Admiral Norrington, Elizabeth Swan, and I have Tia Dalma here as well, just like a smaller image, essentially. So those are like the cards, and there were also some bigger ones, some bigger ships and bigger like sea monsters with their own stats as well. And I also brought some like physical, like some examples of the actual, some of my favorite ships and sea monsters that I have, essentially. So you can see how you basically construct these pieces from flat pieces, right? This one in particular is actually the sleigh, the special Christmas ship. I spent about $60 for this. I spent about $60 for this ship, and it came with a bunch of other ships as well. So probably got this for like, in essence, $40 or something like that. This is the Viking longship I have. Pretty cool. Some sea dragons. This is like a sort of kraken type monster, like a squid. Another like dragon or sort of like serpent kind of monster as well. There were also some unique things like this is a submarine. Essentially, it's meant to be sort of like partially submerged. You can even like sort of like take this off and use this piece to show that it is fully submerged, basically. This is what I mean when I say junk. So like junk ships kind of had sails that looked like this. You may have seen this like elsewhere, like Pirates of the Caribbean movies and stuff like that. Other cool ship designs include this one and this one as well. Most of the ships, so these are like all these sort of special ships that I have. By the way, this is the information about the sleigh and Captain Whitebeard. But most of the ships look like what you would expect them to look like, basically. Let me see if I can... I have a couple of boxes that hold various game pieces. I just wanted to show what the ships normally look like, just using like extra board game boxes. So these are like the rest of my ships, and so you can see I packed them in a bit too tightly, didn't I? There are different types of ships here. We got a bunch. You got there are even a couple of masts like this. Sorry, fortresses. These are this square thing here is a fortress. We have some ships looking like that. This is probably the smallest sort of ship that you'll find. Just like single mast ships. Bigger ships would be like 3 or 4 mast ships. Anything more than four or 5 masts is like very, very big, right? So oh yeah, here's a smaller junk ship as well. I have these organized kind of vaguely by faction, but yeah, I haven't had much opportunity to play with them because I just haven't had much opportunity. But I'm happy to have them. I like having I just really like these sort of fantastical elements of pirates and stuff like that. Pirates of the Caribbean and all that. This game, by the way, Millennium Blades, the Millennium Blades game is not inside this box. I'm using this box for something else. But Millennium Blades is a board game. The board game takes about 2 hours to play in one session. But it simulates the experience of buying, selling, and trading cards and competing with those cards, basically. So kind of like you can see they're definitely inspired by Yu-Gi-Oh! With their original characters. I use this to hold the other components I have for the Pirates constructible strategy game. So essentially what you do in the game is you kind of set up a bunch of islands everywhere, and then you sort of sail your ships between these islands. You pick up treasure at the various islands, and some of these islands, if you turn them around, they are actually like different hazards, like reefs or shoals or fog and things like that. So it very much is a miniatures game if you think of like Warhammer or whatever, except it's ships. Very much a miniatures model kind of game. You would let's see. Oh yeah, this is what crew looks like, right? All of these sort of like little square pieces. They would have their affiliation on the back. So this one is French. and you kind of have the image here. This one is, oh, this is Madame LaFontaine, one of the special crew. But there's a lot of sort of like more generic crew, like you have a shipwright here who is Spanish, for example. There are also things like events, so like, you know, false treasure, things like that, right? You would also put things like this, right? So these are meant to be coins, treasure coins. You would place treasure on these islands, and if your ship kind of like docked against an island, oops, then you were able to pick up that treasure and claim it, and well, you're able to pick up that treasure and have it on your ship, and then when your ship goes back to your home island, then you can claim it and see how much it's worth. This one is 2, which is not as high. It goes from like 1 to 6 usually. So there are also some other things here where this is some smoke, right? So these masts here actually come off, and this shows having a hard time here. Here we go. So these masts come off. That shows damage for the ship. If you wanted to, you could put these smoke things here to kind of like show that the ship is damaged. I usually don't do that, but yeah, and then you just kind of like carefully sort of put the mast back on. If I can manage to do that, it's just like a little slit. You kind of like very carefully put it back in. There we go. Yeah. So that's how you damage. Yeah, you damage the ships. You pull the masts off to show that they're damaged and whatever. And ships can become derelict and whatever and stuff. There are different. So yeah, I have a bunch of sort of like rule books here. A bunch of this is what other pieces would look like all the other like extra ship pieces that don't have cards that don't have ship stats on them. It's just extra ship pieces. I have a bunch of these in case I want to sort of like make my own little like game pieces that look like shipwrecks or something. I have a bunch of other sort of extras in here that I don't have in my binder because they're extras. Oh yeah, these represent different treasures you can put on the island. What do I have in here? Oh, every single game pack of this card game, this pirate ship game, had at least two ships in it, and instruction booklet, at least a couple of islands, and one of these. This is a 6-sided dice, tiny. I know, I have a bunch of these. But basically the idea was that you could play the game straight from any one single pack. You just have to open one pack and you can play the game. You take a ship, your opponent takes a ship, you play a very simple game, and it's a lot of fun. So I wish this was back in print again, but oh well. Oops, let me put these away. Hopefully someday. But at least for now, anyone who wants to actually have like these game pieces, you kind of have to go on eBay or find some store that somehow has extras of them. It's been out of print for quite a long time. So let's see. What else do I have here? Oh yeah. Basically, all I have left is sort of like the extra paraphernalia stuff. So I have this box here that I keep extra Magic the Gathering stuff in. So the Dungeons and Dragons set had a dungeon mechanic. You could delve into these 3 dungeons, and I actually do have memory. I've run Dungeon of the Mad Mage before. I've run Tomb of Annihilation before as a dungeon master. Haven't done Lost Mine of Phandelver, but these other 2 I'm quite familiar with. I also have a couple of pre-made decks in here. These are 2 starter decks. That's why they're not in the binder, because they're starter decks. So I want to keep them that way. And these I found. So I got these 2 for $10 total. These are playable decks, like no joke. You got a Nicol Bolas deck and a Johnny deck, and each of these boxes contains a completely playable set of Magic cards, like text and everything. The zoom's not great, but you can read the text if you squint hard enough. But I just thought it was a fun little sort of novel thing, and it was only $10 at my local game store. So yeah, I got that. I'm pretty happy with it. This is what a tiny land card looks like. Let's see. I think I have a few other sort of Magic the Gathering stuff, things around here. I also just really like this this box here. This box is beautiful. Let's see here. What else? Oh yeah. My wife asked me to kind of like put this in with the rest of the cards. I got her this for Christmas. This is a deck box with some of her favorite Pokemon on it. She loves Vulpix, Alolan, and normal Vulpix. And basically, I bought her this deck right here because it's based on Alolan Ninetales, and of course it has some adorable cards of Alolan Vulpix. And every single one of these cards in this deck has this card back on it, sort of matching this box. So I was pretty proud of being able to sort of construct that for her. She was happy about it. I also gave her an Alolan Vulpix plush as well. So she was very happy about that. She loves getting plushes. My sister-in-law made me this for Christmas. Just like this little business card thing. Don't know what to do with it yet. I used to keep cards in here. This is a little sort of ratty old binder I've had for years. I don't know what to do with it right now, but yeah. I got, this is one of the things I got for Christmas. This is basically a set of 5, this is basically a set of joke cards, but that you can play with, right? So each of these represents a color, right? So we have you know, all 5 of the Magic the Gathering colors are represented here. And also it came with some beautiful land cards as well. But I thought, even though I haven't played Magic the Gathering very much, I know how Magic the Gathering works, and so I understand most of the jokes, like this silly Alexander Clamilton card here that kind of cares about the text of a card and whatever, something like that. I have that, and you know, it's kind of something sort of fun to easily play Magic the Gathering with. And then I think the last thing I have here is just a bunch of extras. This is an extra sort of Millennium Blades box. I'm using a different box to actually hold the game itself. This has these are all pretty much empty. So, but I might use these for some other purpose. I don't know. What else do we have in here? This came with the Dungeons and Dragons Magic the Gathering sort of collector thing, and I sort of keep random cards that I want to sort of... Some print and play card games are in here. And I have some extra like cards that I'm not going to use, like these Apples to Apples cards and these Millennium Blades cards, which are sort of extra that have been replaced with errata and whatever. Let's see here. Some barcode cards in there. Oh yeah. One of the cards I keep my coins in here. So I've had this coin for a long time. This is Alakazam. I also have a couple of these as well. I love Surfetched a lot. And then I have a bunch of card game manuals. I have Pokemon, Magic, Digimon, Harry Potter, and the like. This is also where I have all of my my energy cards. So Harry Potter energy. I have Pokemon energy here. I have my extra land cards here. So, and just a bunch of extras like Pokemon Tops cards as well. That's pretty much my collection. In about an hour. If you stayed this long, thank you. Maybe I could have cut this up into pieces or something. But yeah, I thought it'd be a lot of fun to sort of show my card collection. And thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed.